Nothing is free. Everything beautiful costs. And we are always today trying to avoid the process. Do I enjoy pain? No. Do I enjoy the fruit of knowing God in the way that I have to know Him in order to walk every day? Yeah. I walk slower through the world, ladies and gentlemen, and so hopefully that gives me time to notice when someone is sad and not just wait for them to get out of my way. People are aching to be heard and seen and noticed. Why do you think there's this endless obsession with fame? People feel alone. They don't feel God anymore. You know, I think the whole Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street thing was not at all what it was really, what they said it was about. I think it was a bunch of people so dissatisfied because they can't find meaning, can't find purpose. So they've got to yell about something. And they want everything for free. So anyway, I hope to be roommates with Abigail Adams when I get to heaven. And I hope to make her proud now. I feel like an Abigail Adams of my time, and I'll marry an uncommon man like John was, because I am an uncommon woman. I do not say that with arrogance, but just it is the way it is. So, as I stated earlier, the abortionist was not on duty that I came into the world, so my life was spared. And I was being burned alive in my mother's womb for 18 hours, so I should be blind, I shouldn't sing, I should be obviously dead. And here I am, just with a little limp, but my prognosis was horrible. When I was first diagnosed with cerebral palsy, they said that I would never ever move. I would never be anything more than a vegetable. One of many reasons why I am not in favor of Obamacare. No person or government can ever look at an individual and say, this is how far you will go and no farther. Only God can determine that. So they said, yeah, Gianna will never be anything more than a vegetable. But I went on to, now this has been a while, so I'm a little bit embarrassed to even say now, but I did go on to run 2 full marathons by running on my toes, 26.2 miles, praying the whole way, training forever, being mocked by one of the men that I was running with. He was a big liberal and he couldn't stand me. So he decided to mock me in certain ways. And yet that's okay, because I believe that he will be in heaven, because I prayed for him for 8 hours that he would come to know Jesus while he was laughing at me in his way. And I believe that the Lord will honor how difficult that was by allowing him to come to know Jesus in a real and living way. And I can't wait to see him there. So I ran the Nashville Marathon in 2005 for 7.5 hours. Everyone had eaten all the donuts and gone home. And I didn't really care. I thought, I'll be here for 3 days if I have to be. I'm crossing that finish line. I'm running with all the lactic acid building up in my legs and feel like I'm going to die. But I'm not going to die. I'm going to finish. And then the handsome Englishman came along and asked me to run the London Marathon in 2006. And being the Jane Austen fan that I am, with that accent, you know, I didn't think he was asking me to run a marathon. I just, you know, of course thought he was proposing. So I headed to the motherland, quite mistaken. And thankfully so. in hindsight. I bring that up, though, because I am fatherless, and often fatherless girls beg for love, and I did for many years. Not physically, but just emotionally. Please acknowledge me. Please tell me that I'm worthy. Please tell me that I'm beautiful. Please, please, just please, because no father had ever done that, or has. And so I would look to men to do that, and they never would, because that, number one, really isn't their job. It isn't their job to heal everything broken inside of a woman. Only Jesus can do that. And number two, I don't know what number two is. I can't remember. It just flew out of my head. But I'll just say that I then went to therapy when I got back from London, and thank God I learned that I'm not a beggar. And I rarely meet women that I feel are married or otherwise, that I feel really believe they are worthy of love. Rarely. I'm now 34. I was mortified at the thought of turning 30 and not being married, because I thought, oh, good grief, I'm going to die a spinster and never be loved ever. That's fabulous. I'm just going to work forever and then die. Those were my thoughts. Then I turned 30 and felt even more fabulous. Then 31 and 32 and 33 and 34 as it goes. And now I am so happy because I know who I am. And before I behaved as a beggar, and now I behave as a queen. By the grace of God, I pray every day with my heart, with my life, Lord, I am yours, and I am worthy of the uncommon man, not the weasel. The weasel is the man, it's pretty self-explanatory, who treats me as if, or any woman for that matter, that we should be grateful to be in their presence. But in particular, when you limp, you get this all the time from the weasels of the world who don't listen when you're speaking to them, who are rather arrogant, really, and they don't realize who you are and what you are. And I'll tell you something, if you don't mind. I ran those races in part because I was full of rage and I needed to deal with it. And I couldn't also look at my reflection in a window at that time. Because of my history, I thought my cerebral palsy made me completely unattractive to men. So I had to work all this out. Because this world is not kind to even a little limp. You become last, chosen among the last, very often. Or you get told all the time, oh, I know this incredible man who has cerebral palsy. That's nice. That would be a very stable household. Let's all fall down together. And then, or, Gianna, I know this great man that no one else wants to date, but you are so special. That's kind. See, when you are a little girl and you limp, being special is quite nice. But when you become a woman, you want to hear what every other woman wants to hear, that you are beautiful. And yet, you rarely do hear it. Now I do, and I'm not saying this so that you'll all run up and tell me that I'm beautiful. But just to tell you the journey that it has taken to that I have taken to the uncommon man that will find me, and what has shaped me. I have been shaped through rejection from the very beginning, and had no idea that it would carry over into dating, into being ignored, completely ignored, and mocked and told, you're beautiful as long as you're sitting down. One of different things that I have been told. So, I was out with a weasel when I was about 30. And he was assuming, of course, that I was in love with him, which I was not. I thought he was cute, but that was about it. I thought, you're not going anywhere in life that I want to go, but you are cute, so I'll hang out with you today. And that'll be the end of that. So he made it very, very clear that he would never be interested in me. So I held in my emotion, and I got to my car. Yes, I do drive. And I flipped out, had a meltdown, said to the Lord, is this all there is for me? Endless preaching and then death. I am so happy you made me a woman for relationships, and I will never have any. I appreciate that. I've always been very honest with Jesus, because he's my dad, and I treat him as such. When your father and your mother forsake you, the Lord will take you up. So I talk to Jesus like that, not out of irreverence, but out of a tremendous love, in fact. And so, this is what I heard in reply. Gianna, I know you have dealt with this your whole life, rejection. But Gianna, sometimes I use the very thing in your life that is ripping your heart out to do one thing. And I said, what? And I heard, protect you. I use those little limping legs of yours to blind men to exactly what you are, because most of them are absolutely unworthy of you. And I am your father, and I will not hand you over to just anyone. So I use your legs to create in them the idea that it is their idea that they do not want you, when in fact it is me who is chasing them off. And now 4 years later from that encounter, and from that encounter in the car, that was the first moment in 30 years that I could ever believe I am beautiful. I had always been special, always been an inspiration. Oh, those two words. Oh, they have become painful, in fact. And I know they are well-meaning, so when people say them to me, I smile and know what they mean. It's not as painful now, but for years and years and years, you are just so special. You are just so special. You are special. You are, oh, you can understand. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know, but it is irritating. And so then 4 years have gone by, and now I learn that the Lord is just now changing my life in this area and doing wonderful and beautiful things, because it is just now that I believe that I am worthy of love. And it took 4 more years to go from, you are beautiful, okay, I accept that, to now, you are worthy and no longer a beggar. And now I am ready to receive love. But I have noticed girls and women without fathers or rotten relationships with their fathers tend to choose men that are abusive. And I will not do that. By God's grace and by all of the work that I have chosen to engage in to heal.